And welcome to another scene set in the Chronicles of Darkness Vampire for Requiem. Requiem for London. Tonight we set our scene back within Earl's Court. Specifically, the subway station. Home of the local Revenant population. And very inconveniently for the Seneschal, right on her doorstep. Some of you have returned here as part of the original investigation team that was looking into the missing revenants. Perhaps others among you have been called here by some of those other kindred. You've been informed or at least word is on the street, that the Revenants are looking to do a favour for those who look into these missing kindred. Or rather, that Margot Bastion will do you a favour. Perhaps far more valuable than any favour the Revenants could give you. When you arrive...
Sorry, I asked who was Margot Bastion.
Margot Bastion, you can roll me a politics roll if you like.
Like in politics?
Yep. In politics to know who she is.
A whole success.
Okay, so for anybody that succeeded, I mean, she's only the prince's youngest child. No one of importance really. Or the king's. Of course, those who have already dealt with her would already know that. Figment, you have no idea who Margot Bastion is. Only that they're willing to perform, do a favour to those that...
I heard there would be snacks.
Gives you a small bag of trail mix.
Yeah.
But she's noted that she would give her gratitude to any who could resolve these murders or kidnappings before they get worse. When you arrive at Earl's Court, you see a sparse and largely empty station. Trains still pass through every few minutes, but it's late at night. What you do see, however, is an individual sort of standing off to the side. On the edge of the platform, or on the edge of one of the platforms, Sort of leaning against the rim of one of the tunnels, almost. And that is this individual. They have a very distinct predatory aura about them.
When you say distinctive, what does that mean?
It just seems a little bit off-putting to your own beast. It's a bit difficult to describe. There's nothing about it, there's no obvious tell. It's almost like your own beast almost holds this other kindred almost in disdain. It's like it has a bad scent.
For those of us who've either met Revenants before or are old enough to have met them, is this a normal thing when we, if and when we meet them?
It's not consistent, sometimes.
Okay.
He'll walk on up to you. He sort of stops halfway. He'll sort of wait for you to
Quick
approach.
question. Have you used this faceplate before, or is there a chance that I have seen this person before?
Have you met
I've
Hickory
met-
before?
I don't know. That's kind of why I'm asking.
No.
Oh, was that?
he's-
Yeah, because I was going to say, I've definitely met this. I've definitely seen that face before. I thought Hickory was an old man.
Nope.
Okay, who was the old Revenant?
The one that died?
Oh yeah, he died. Sorry, continue. Yep.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
remember that. I swung the sword.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the one that killed him.
Yeah, you were. I remember that.
Yeah, I no longer have him in my file listed as a revenant.
That's fine.
But no, he stops halfway and he'll wait for one of you to approach.
The Jaya will walk up.
He's quite broad. He wears just a simple shirt and jeans. He looks a bit scruffy. The thing which is most distinctive about him is his bright red hair. Everything about else about him is, well, actually quite intimidating. He's very large, and he looks like he's been in a large number of fights throughout his existence.
Good evening.
There's a lot of you.
Yeah, I think this is sort of. Well,
If it helps, I'm led to reliably understand that Mr. Goodwin counts for at least 3.
I'm up to 4 actually, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I recognize one of you. Although you're kind of hard to miss. It's going to be a problem, by the way.
Is it?
If we want to have a talk, yeah. Can any of you make that problem disappear? So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to fetch someone to do it for you.
I can do it, don't worry about it.
Right. Let's have a chat then. He's gonna walk off. He's gonna walk out of the out of the sort of station area proper, off the platform proper, and into a series of passenger tunnels, making his way through several. He very
Chris, how do
quickly,
sorry.
he very quickly ends up making his way through a series of tunnels that are clearly no longer in use, but have not been destroyed.
Also, question, Chris. He just meant like obfuscate him away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yes. Question.
You can interpret it however you like. Perhaps he intended for one of you to murder Phineas. That'd be grim.
That would be grim. Could I roll a perception or wits empathy to discern what he meant?
I could torture you for longer, but I won't. Yeah, he meant obfuscate.
Okay, cool. Then we'll spend the blood and tap Phineas, making Phineas disappear. Whoomp.
Also, Chris, how much do my 500-pound handmade Italian leather shoes hate this place?
Let's just say you're not going to be wearing them again.
Oh,
They
wonderful.
were 500 pounds.
I'm so tempted to ask Phineas. If Phineas wasn't invisible, I'd ask for upsies.
I mean, so my dumb American brain thought you meant like pounds as in, like the weight unit. So I'm like, wait, how your shoes weigh that much? Why are you wearing them?
For a second, too, honestly, I had to do a mental translation.
500 money pieces. Alright, sorry, continue, Chris. I'm done trolling.
He very quickly ends up taking down a series of tunnels that are no longer in use. They even briefly pass over some subway tracks. You end up being led into sort of more open area. You can see that this is like seems to be a disused platform. There's lots of tents and stuff scattered around.
There are a lot
Some
of people.
sleeping bags. No, not many now. All of you can also smell a lot of animal blood. Bit further
I'll
down
take
in
that.
an adjacent chamber.
Belzer takes out a small glass vial that's basically filled with some kind of like lavender oil or perfume. And you just like he just kind of places the rim of it to his nose and just kind of does a little line under his nose. So we just have to smell the ick. Better now.
This'll do. Notice there are a few other revenants that are sort of eyeing up the conversation, but are well away from all of you. You think there are more here than you can see. So, first things first. I know one of you was with Brompton. That's why one of our guys got something. Do you have any information to share on that? That's the big guy, by the way. You can let him out now.
I will snap his fingers and let Phineas be Phineas again.
Huzzah.
Did you hear what he asked you, Tiger?
No, I didn't.
Okay, he asked you if you had any information about what happened at Brompton, because apparently that's where you went the last time, where one of the Revenants got either nabbed or killed.
I don't remember that. I remember going to.
Yeah,
The-
no. there
That's
was
true.
no
I'm
doubt
treating this as
happened
if it's
for
been
that.
a night's interval. So
Okay.
you can roll me. I'll have you roll intelligence wits roll to see what you remember.
Yeah, thank you. 'Cause I,
As you-
it's been a minute.
I would
Oh,
have assumed
okay.
you would have spent some time combing the site, and then would have gone your separate ways once you had discerned some information.
You said just straight intelligence, right?
I think it already happened.
Wits plus intelligence.
Oh, wits plus intelligence. Okay. I'll just roll the extra dice then. Yeah, I got nothing.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, Percival, I think you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, we only have about half a team, unfortunately. Yeah, then, unfortunately, Phineas, you don't remember too much. You remember some of the gravestones being mucked up. There was definite signs of a struggle.
Hmm.
And you remember the distinct scent of blood. And it didn't look like there had been an attempt to clean it up either. Percival, you remember a bit more. You remember some of these stones had been not only damaged, some of them looked like they'd been slashed with claws.
Okay.
And you remember even having a taste of the blood on the ground. It was thin. It was not the blood of the perpetrator, but of the Revenant.
It looked like there was a struggle there. Some of the gravestones had been scuffed up.
Yeah.
Didn't look like there was an attempt to clean it up, so either is
No
very
body, huh?
no body, correct. Some blood was about.
No ashes.
No ashes, but the blood was fed.
Maybe been a quick fashion grab.
Also, do forgive me. I wasn't aware that your kind left Revenants. Or, sorry, left Ashes. Balthazar will say with a kind of a quirked eyebrow.
Depends on how long you've been around, and as any other kindred. Eventually, after a few years, it's just ashes. Sometimes a skeleton.
Fascinating.
But Trevor was no pushover, it must have been a smash and grab.
And whoever did it was stronger than the tail through a couple gravestones.
He sort of processes this. He spends quite a bit of time in silence. just a gangrel?
That was what me and the other Dowie got.
Hunting on their own. Here's a start, I guess. None of us have been taken since, so... At least we're not all at death's door yet. What about the others?
I didn't have time to look into the only ones that wasn't seen so far.
And no evidence of who the perpetrators have been there.
Before, no.
Then we need more information. Do you know where any of them might have been taken?
Not yet, but they all seem to have been convinced to hunt so, and that's what they were taken.
Actually, Percival and Phineas, or at least Phineas, you can definitely roll me intelligence wits. I think Percival can as well.
Can I?
I think you can, yeah. I'm pretty sure you're privy to this conversation.
I mean, if it's worth anything, we can go back to the scene. I'm a particularly skilled investigator, so maybe I can drudge something up.
I got a success.
Okay, you remember what Blair told you? Her lovely friend, Chips, as he was called, went to fed frequently around the embankment area, and she suspected he was going to feed there when he left the casino on the night that he fell out of contact.
I can't remember, did she say Slips was like, or Chips was a Revenant, or like an actual kindred, or anything like that?
Chips was a Revenant.
But like he also had like a crippling gambling addiction.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was not a rich
Also,
man.
Chris, I got 5 successes on 5 dice.
Oh, nice.
He did, in fact.
An exceptional success on a memory check. Actually difficult to...
Percival, the literal god of remembering things.
Yeah, alright, so as you have catalogued the aspects of this investigation thoroughly to the point that you can remember with perfect clarity, feel free to put down in your character thread that you have the informed condition for matters pertaining to this investigation. That is in Chronicles of Darkness, page 289. Basically, when you make a check relating to the topic of the informed condition, If it's a failure, you can turn it into a success, and if it's a success, you can turn it into an exceptional success.
So what's so special about this Chips fellow?
Revenant. Friend of Blair's. Would like to feed around that embankment fairly often. In fact, he was on his way over there right before we went and investigated.
Sounds like a better lead than we got right now.
And you think he's been taken?
He has, according to not to.
I haven't seen him in well over a week.
But we still have no more information on who is doing the taking, no first step of the puzzle.
I was hoping we'd have
Unfortunately,
something. There are others.
And people,
There's
I mean,
We only
they
have
said
a scene and a suspicion that whoever's doing this is the murderer. That's all we know.
that narrows it down to what's the proportional gangrel population in the city? Just curious.
A lot.
Oh, I meant like out of all the kindred.
Do you really think anybody's doing a fucking census?
No.
It better not be, honestly. But,
Yeah.
I mean, she looks, Natalia just looks around, she goes, so you, like, we've looked into where he was last seen, right? So we can't go that route. So, what, do we need to, like, ask around, or, like, what are we doing here? Like,
I think pursuing this Chips fellow is probably our best lead.
Percival and Phineas, you're also aware of two other missing Revenants, Bailey and Lisette.
Oh, those also, yeah, he'll possible relay the information of the two other ones.
The issue that we're facing is not necessarily about knowing who's been taken, that is a step. However, we have no information as to ascertain whom it is took them in the first place.
where to start looking.
we have an idea of where to start looking. Mr. Smith, you said you're a quite thorough investigator, yes?
Yes.
Then we should return to the scene that we originally discovered and see if it's still there. See if you can suss out anything.
It was also where Chips went to go and feed. That could also be a possible lead.
Mhm.
And then there's all that other kindred that barely in this other Revenant's name. I've just forgot it. You know, I just said it. Well, in contact with that we can go talk to.
Alright.
We divvy it up, like go two groups. One goes for the hunting location and the others go to look at the fucking
Wait,
thing, or what?
Possible looks at Figment and then looks at the group. Figment, you can talk to dead things, right?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I think we can go back to the graveyard and we can have Figment do. He makes Gregory fingers and see if anyone on one of those things saw anything.
If anyone was around.
I mean, it's a graveyard.
You are aware, Figment, that generally ghosts do not populate most of a given area. Like, in a given city, usually the haunted houses are very much the exception, not the rule. But graveyards are basically small communities of ghosts. There's always ghosts in a graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of them. There's usually also an Avernian gate, depending on the size of the cemetery. So it's likely that at least one ghost witnessed what happened, if not several.
I can ask around.
Definitely seems worth doing. If
Yeah.
we don't have any other witnesses.
Very well, then I suggest we take a sojourn to this graveyard. Mr. Smith can do his mundane investigations, and Miss Figment can do her necrolocity? I'm not even sure what it's called.
She can
I
speak
call it
with the dead.
Yes.
I call it, he does victory finger with it. That's what I call it.
Yes, the game of undead telephone.
Whatever makes you happy. They are pretty dead, though.
So are we.
We're undead. They're dead. There's a difference.
I'm going with whoever's going to the graveyard.
I think we're all going to the graveyard.
Yeah, they were all going to go. Also, I need to go AFK for a second. I'll be back.
Since there's only so much time in the night, would it be worth it for us to split? Figment goes to the graveyard with the group, because I'll be frank, you'll probably gather as much information I can, or at least the vague sense of it. And then myself and a group of other kindred can go to the where Chips was last seen and see if we could figure something out there.
I tend to find that in these cases where, as you point out, there are only so many hours of the night, and splitting our endeavours are not necessarily the best opportune, more than likely you can do your mundane investigations in the graveyard, while Figment does her own supernatural investigations.
I know. It's more just a matter of, do we want to cover more ground? Hence why I ask. No, but your opinion, though, is, it's a valid opinion. Like, there's merit to that.
I feel as though, since we are investigating a group of heavily armed individuals who have the ability to snatch and grab kindred or revenants. For the record, when he says kindred, you'll actually notice he stops himself, retracts his statement, and says revenants, almost like the concept of calling a kindred a revenant was offensive to him. Just TLDR. Casual little sneaky racism there. But we should probably be prepared in order to repel individuals should they become antsy.
Phineas just kind of rolls his neck.
I hear he likes to rip people's arms off when he loses.
I'll make a mental note of that.
Phineas opts not to confirm or deny that statement.
Yeah. Don't. If this is the same people that it might be, I think we should go with the covert and not the direct confrontation. Just saying. So I mean, I'm totally in favor of just being just go there, be cool, and examine things and get out. I think that would work better.
And do you have an idea of who it might be in that instance?
I mean, I've heard rumors. I don't know anything concretely. It's just honestly, who has the balls to do something like that? It's got to be someone who's not afraid of much.
What, hunt us?
Right?
There are plenty of assholes who want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but the list has got to be somewhat short, right?
It's longer than you'd think. Just a few weeks ago, I had to kick the shit out of Lionel.
Who?
Invictus prick who thinks he and his coterie can hound us like we're fucking foxes.
I mean, if I want to look at, like, should we not, like, already just begin to have, like, a subject list or a suspect list?
Ooh. Oh god. Okay.
That suspect list would number in the fucking dozens. If it were that simple, I wouldn't. Margot
There's a
wouldn't be
reason
asking
why
for
we're-
help.
Right, I'm just coming with suggestions here, it's fine.
Mr. Hickory, I will also ask a small personal favor. You may dislike this individual, however, please do not connect the term of our particular organization with a swear word again. Thank you.
He's Invictus, he's a prick. He tried to hunt us. I kicked the shit out of him.
Natalia just looks between them and just, he's kind of right, you know?
I let him live because Margot is Invictus, and I respect Margot. It's nothing personal. But I'm not gonna sit around while someone tries to hunt us like we're little animals. And I'm not gonna treat them as if they deserve any respect.
As you say, there's that very kind of I'm polite smile on the face, just like polite. Mm-mm.
And Ben was pleased.
I'm getting
Just a little.
Spina vibes here.
I beg your pardon.
I'm getting Spina vibes here.
Yep. As I said, if I ever actually am insulted to the point my Bane triggers, just let me know.
Hmm.
So,
He's Invictus.
cemetery.
But just because he's of your sect doesn't necessarily make him your ally.
Oh no, absolutely. It's more the fact that he's insult. When you level his point is don't insult the Invictus, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. To be fair, he did say that he let him go because Margot was Invictus, so he clearly has some measure of respect. Maybe not for the Invictus, but for individuals among them.
Mm-hmm. And then cemetery.
Cemetery.
Well, kind of like quick aspects on. No, actually, forget it.
Mr. Goodwin, when I was led to inform you would be here, I brought the extra large town car.
Oh, lovely. I don't have to walk somewhere for once. Thank you.
Tragically, such a display of kindness is unnecessary, as Brompton Cemetery is very close to Earl's Court Station.
Well, I'll have a ride home at the least, possibly.
There you go.
How pleasant. Hmm.
Also, we're probably going to have to drive from the cemetery to our place of ass beating.
Possibly. I also brought my van.
So, yeah, it's literally just a walk down the road, more or less. It would not take you more than a few minutes
Do I need to
to make
obfuscate
it.
Phineas?
Okay.
Do I need to obfuscate Phineas?
Yes, but I will say, because there's quite a lot of you, please do not interrupt me when I'm speaking, and one at a time.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. This is for future. But yeah, I'll not make you spend the extra blood points to obfuscate Phineas.
Okay, cool.
Because you already had him obfuscated initially, so
Yeah.
that'd be
Okay.
nice. But it's literally just a walk down like Kempsford Gardens or Eardley Crescent. Doesn't take you more than a few minutes to just walk over there. Take you even less time on a vehicle. The cemetery is relatively large. And it's almost like the way its paths are laid out. It's almost like a grid. It's almost like with a larger plaza on the south side. But you won't see much of that, as Phineas and Percival can lead you directly to the site. It's where the cemetery is. That's all kept. A lot of gravestones are a little bit ajar. The grass is longer. Somewhat out of the way. Off the path. And you do all smell the faint scent of blood. It's quite faint now, though. It's not very strong anymore. Figment, as you stroll through the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend a vitae to perceive any of the local wildlife if you'd like.
Yep, I will do that.
For highly dead wildlife.
That's cemetery.
Oh, well, for some reason I was expecting a run. I'm like, you just need to spend a veto. What am I doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I just have to spend. Like,
but yeah, you spend a vitae. Quite a lot of ghosts here. Brompton is quite a large cemetery, or it's reasonably large. So, there are a large number of ghosts here.
Anyone I recognize?
None
a
that-
ghost poker night.
Ghosts don't really travel far beyond their respective anchors. Some do, but it's considered a bit dangerous. So you don't really recognize any of the figures here. You're sort of a traveller passing through a spot on the road almost. Small town of ghosts. There are dozens of them. Most of them are just drifting or staying close to their anchors. Some of
Is anyone
them
anchored? Sorry.
Figment, you would know the term. You would understand this as you're a Dragolescu. You understand the nuances of the undead lexicon. An anchor is effectively a material link the ghost has to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like a grave.
Now I was gonna ask, is there anyone who is hanging out particularly close to where they think this all happened?
There are a few, yeah. Most of them. Well, they all look rather the sort of the two ghosts that are sort of hanging around the area where you're at, where the struggle took place. They look relatively how to say modern. It didn't look like they died like 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
One is what appears to be a pale translucent imitation of a man. It's late 30s. Wearing an unbuttoned suit. The other is a woman just wearing a bomber jacket and black jeans.
Walk over to them, give them a wave.
They sort of flicker in and out of existence. They appear a bit more human-like for most of the other ghosts present.
Evening.
They turn to you, a little bit surprised that they're being spoken to. Sort of, the man narrows his eyes, sort of leans forward a little bit. He leans forward very close to you, actually, to the point where, if he were a material, he'd very much be invading your personal space.
Mm-hmm. I'll let him and I'll just kind of smile. I'm not here to hurt you or anything. I just wanted to ask you questions if you're okay with that.
Oh, Jesus, she is talking to us.
Sorry, I don't come around this graveyard very often. My name's Figment.
That's a name?
It's the one I use.
Okay, I understand.
What name do you use?
Roger Ferry, a pleasure to meet you. I suppose. It's odd saying that to... And then he looks at you again. To you. I was going to call you a human, but you're not, are you?
No, not for a while now.
I guess that is a solace in some sense. I said I suppose that is a solace in some sense.
I like to keep lines of communication open, where possible. And I like to help where I can. But I was wondering if you could help us.
I suppose that depends. What do you need help with?
How long ago was it that this all happened, Chris? Was it a couple days ago? Or nights ago?
Judging by the scent of the blood, it's been longer than that.
I'll ask Ben.
It's been a few nights at this point, you think? A few nights. You remember they said chips disappeared over a week ago. This isn't quite that recent. The blood hasn't decayed to that point, but it is pretty far gone. You imagine if you were to taste it, it would be foul, and you probably wouldn't discern much information from it.
There was a struggle here, maybe a bit less than a week ago. Did you see it? Would have been people like me, possibly, or similar at least.
Oh gods, that was horrific, the woman says.
Was it now?
Well, hey, let's not put all our cards on the table. You said you'd be willing to help where you could.
Indeed. What would this information be worth, you think? What can I do to help you?
He considers and will will converse with a woman for a moment, as I just need to go to Laura. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Like to imagine while Figment was doing this, Ben was like investigating the gravestone with the woman on it. Just like
Ben, do you want a piece of chewing gum? You look up as your head just goes straight through her torso, you know.
Ben, you're gonna want to move about 2 feet to the left.
What was that? She's looking at you. His head is just firmly in her torso.
Your head is halfway through a woman's torso right now.
Oh, shit. Back up slowly. Have hopefully my specialty in investigation for crime scene applies. That'd be pretty helpful.
I would assume so.
I would hope so. Yes. I agree. Phineas is just there and off you skate like, I'm free, I can do whatever I want.
I can walk wherever I wish.
I can walk wherever I wish, I am unstoppable now. Nobody can escape the gooning.
Nobody. Someone's just walking down the street, suddenly they're getting eaten. It's like that fucking scene from Suicide Squad.
Boom. Goon. Deal with it.
Goon. Percival is there, I remember all. I remember when I was born.
Also remembers when you were born.
Oh, that's terrifying.
He was there. Who do you think delivered you?
God, that's terrifying.
I was there the one time Tiggy wasn't hungry.
Oh god, don't tell anyone.
Oh no. Percival was there in a different game.
Wearing a slightly different hat.
What is this Clan Malkavian people keep talking about? This is real bizarre.
They exist again. The Malkavians now exist in Requiem in the Ventru book because they're a Ventru bloodline.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like treated as fucking like a sickness that infects Ventru.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But
Because what the Bruja are have
Bruja
a bloodline in the Gangrel.
Of the Gangrel.
Yeah, and then Toreador.
Isn't Percival actually a Bruja?
Yes, he is, but nobody knows that in Kyoto but him. Nobody's ever asked his bloodline.
Do you have like Majesty or some shit? Gonna pop Majesty 5 like a Chad?
No, I have big ol', so I just pump people at the walls.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I really was hoping you had Majesty 5.
Next downtime, I will be able to do the. Oh!
You'll get to be Verve, but far worse.
Hashtag Verve, but confident. What? Nothing.
God.
That fight is still like the scarred into my memory.
God. Aren't you glad in fights that Ben has done the same thing twice? I was gonna say Auspex people then run away, but yeah. Reveal their deepest, darkest secrets to you and then be like, alright, I'm gonna die, see it.
No, because at the end of it, it was me, Lyd, and James just spending our last will trying to do that last point of fucking damage to Verve, and it just wasn't working.
That's fucking hilarious. I imagine knowing that all of her goons had her vigor helped.
Fucking hate that discipline. Oh, so much.
I still think it was better in the fucking Gorgon fight where Ben's like, she releases weird pheromone shit, she can do snake arms, she'll make you kill yourself. Alright, bye! Runs away. Just immediately just runs up the stairs.
By the way, because I'm not exactly sure. Dude Bro is now dude who ran those two other games that closed or that finished, quote unquote, sent me an invite to his third game, and my response was
the Detroit one.
Yeah, are you playing in it?
No, one of my other friends is. I know about it through him.
Yeah, because he said
his response was, "I'm bored." And I was like, "Fair enough."
I don't know. Like he sent me an invite to it, like, and I was like, "Yeah, no, Mr. Superman, no here."
Yeah, I know. Also, I'm
My friend Rowan took over the Paris game. So I'm like, yes, I'll just sit here and goon Nosferatu.
Goon Ferrati.
I'm back.
Yeah, I really like dealing
Hello.
shitloads of acting.
That's right.
Oh, welcome back.
Shoot at the
Um,
cops.
The two ghosts will turn to you. Wow. You've come to terms. I'm sure it shouldn't be too much trouble for you. Annabelle here would just like some proper respect. If you could pay her, you could provide, if you could just lay a bushel of flowers at her grave every month, that would be appreciated. As to myself,
She'll bow to her. Of course. Oh, so she'll just kind of like nod to her. She's like, of course.
As to myself, well, it is slightly more complicated. I, like Annabelle, would appreciate being remembered, but, well... I have some relatives that have since stopped coming to my site of burial. If you could convince them to come back, I would appreciate it. I miss them quite terribly.
How long have you been here, if you don't mind me asking?
5 or so years now, I think. I'd like to think I have a better head on my shoulders than half the spirits in this place. Most of them have stopped keeping track of time.
If you tell me who they are and where I could find them, I can certainly arrange that. She'll look over at Annabelle. What kind of flowers would you like?
She thinks for a moment. You know, I always liked lilies.
Okay.
She doesn't have much else to say. As for Roger, he will whisper you the name of his family. He seemed rather paranoid.
Just give me enough information that I can find him.
Yeah, I have D&D the names.
Oh, cool, thanks. She'll nod to both of them. You have my word, it'll be done.
I hope you stay true to it. Well then, I wasn't witness to all of it. My attention was actually drawn to it by Annabelle here. Yes, it was a strange was a strange thing. I saw... Well, there's this man who always comes here every night. Been keeping an eye on him for a while now. It's quite fascinating to watch him. Every night he came to this gravesite. Was it the dead of night? Every night. I'm sure if his wife was still here, she'd have appreciated it. It was just a few nights ago that I saw him last. He was wandering back to this site again. I was actually waiting for him at the entrance. He was just wandering down like he normally does. He took the same route every night. Sort of like... kind of like us in a way. Always the same routine. I think that's why I grew fond of him. He seemed to be in the same sort of position that we were all in. Something caught my eye as he was walking down the path. I noticed a second pair of footprints. I looked up, but I couldn't see anything. Thought it was strange. Maybe it was just where somebody else had been in the gravel. But then I noticed... oh. It was as if someone that wasn't there, or someone that was unseen, was walking behind him. And he crouched down and went to look at the gravestone. They suddenly appeared behind him. They lunged at him. They grabbed him. They tore out his throat. He didn't go down. That surprised me at first. He tried to struggle back. He managed to shake them off briefly. Then the person behind them, they sprouted claws like a beast. They began tearing at each other. He tried to throw in some punches. He ended up tripping over the gravestone as his assailant slashed it. Then they jumped on him and they just kept wailing on him until he stopped moving.
The name on the gravestone that she said was the guy's wife.
It's pretty badly carved up at this point. But you can roughly make out the name Stella Daniels.
This man that they attacked, could you tell, was he more like me or was he a regular person?
The one that they attacked? Or the one that was attacked? Sorry, I mean... I'm sorry, my mind's a bit all over the place. It was a...
The man that you saw come here every night.
He... Well, he certainly didn't speak to the dead. Not how you are, at least.
Not that many do. But I mean, not fully human.
Well, he was always quite pale. And he did that same hungry look in his eyes, like you do. Now that you mention it, I never saw him breathing. Well, he did look a little bit corpse-like. I thought he might have been sick.
I'll relay all this information to everybody. So the ones that attacked them, that grew the claws, how many of them were there?
It was just the one. He was relatively short. He was actually shorter than Mr. Daniels. He was very, very pale. Very pale. His skin clung to his bones almost, and his muscles. It was almost like they were coming out of his skin. He also had very
sound
deep...
like somebody?
He also had very... deep dark eyes. They glue almost. He had dreadlocks that are done up into a ponytail.
Well, it's fairly distinct around here. After he killed the man, what did he do with them? Did you see which way he left?
He didn't... I'm not sure if he killed him. He took the body and left the way the man entered. Then he was just gone. I couldn't see him anymore. And I didn't want to leave the cemetery.
That's very helpful, thank you. See what direction, which gate he left out of?
Yeah, she'll point. It's all the way back where you came in. He was muttering something to himself when he left. He didn't say much when he fought, but after Mr. Daniels fell, he started speaking to himself.
Really?
He started speaking to him, as if he was still awake. He was telling him how... He was sort of commenting on how he was in such a sorry state and... how he intended to make things better for him. He said he wouldn't have to care about any of this in a few nights.
Turns her head to the side at that. Well, that's interesting. I'll relay that to everybody else.
I don't recall a whole lot else of what he said. He was sort of muttering a lot of it underneath his breath when he started walking away.
Chris, I know it's a long shot, but particularly because I think we have representatives here from all movements in the city. Could an intelligence politics check be made based on the physical description of the kindred, and considering he showed what disciplines he showed, to identify who he was? Like, he basically showed... He definitely showed obfuscate. I think, like, with the dreadlocks, and I think it was very heavily intimation he was a Nosferatu. Could we make a roll to try and identify him?
Could try.
I beg your pardon?
You could try making me an intelligence streetwise check. It is a relatively general description. The disciplines help.
I don't know, I mean, I feel like relatively short with dreadlocks.
Relatively
That's
short of dreadlocks
gotta
is not
narrow
the
it
best.
down.
Is not the best description, but it does. But you do know of their disciplines, so I'll like to make an intelligence streetwise check at -3 dice.
Question:
Everyone
Does my
do
specking?
that?
Oh, pardon, Mr. Smith?
Does my specking rumors apply?
No.
Okay, cool. Just want to double
Can
check.
anyone make this roll?
Oh, pardon, Natalia?
Can everyone do this roll?
Yep, all the information has been relayed to you via Figment, so...
Yeah, nope. Nope.
Ooh.
Well done!
Ben's just sitting there. He's investigating the scene. His eyes are just darting around like crazy.
Okay.
Ben
I
stares
know
as
this
the
motherfucker.
soul of the universe.
So, someone got an exceptional success. So, unfortunately, many of you are can't really put any into any face. You're completely unaware of an individual of that description. Balthazar, you got a success. So, you're not aware of anyone in the Invictus with that sort of description. So they're not of your sect. But you're fairly well connected in general, and you haven't heard of anyone of this description. I mean, there are kindred in the domain with dreadlocks, and kindred that are short. But with the disciplines of Protean and Obfuscate, and reside within this general area, no. So you don't actually think... They're certainly not social, but you don't even think they're announced.
Fascinating.
You don't think they're a public figure. So they're either highly anonymous, in the vein of Bagman, or they don't want to be known to the court at all. Mr. Smith. Councillor Smith. You are a very well-connected kindred. And if there's one thing that immediately sticks out to you, it's that there is no kindred that has been of this description that has been spoken of in the cacophony. That immediately raises an eyebrow to you. Because if they're a recent arrival, the cacophony would have noted it. Someone, a harpy, bagman, yourself, particularly if they came from the west side of London, would know of it. You're very well connected to kindred on the ground. Someone would have known. If they announced themselves, at least. So you don't think they want to be known?
Nobody reported a kindred of this description.
Nobody reported a kindred of this description at all. On top of that...
Ben's reluctant to everybody else. Sorry, you continue, Ben. Or Chris. Blech.
On top of that, you are, however, aware of kindred, of this, how to say, of this persuasion. And you think if you get in contact with some gangrel among the Carthians, they might be able to tell you more.
Okay.
Because while you may not know, and the cacophony may not know, it is more than likely they have been in contact with members of their clan. And there are more than a few gangrel in the Carthians. And you know that among the kindred, blood speaks to blood. If this... Oh, one moment. Yep.
You nearly done.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah, one. Yep, all good.
How long are you going to be?
I don't know, not very long.
Alright, don't do it like that. It's never 1 o'clock, love.
Sorry about that. It is possible, or rather it is likely, if this individual's life was at risk, a gangrel, specifically one nearby, may have actually felt it through the blood. They might need to be able to tell you a bit more.
Ben will relay all that except for the talking to Carthian gangrels part.
Balthazar kind of turns to look at Figment. He says, point of clarification is, you say that this gentleman bled or had his throat torn out here, correct?
That's what she said.
Interesting. Chris, he's gonna kind of stoop down and try and find some of the blood, even if it's been, rained on and not very good quality at this point in time.
There's blood all around this gravesite. It's quite messy.
On the
gravestone.
He's going to reach up. I'm going to spend a point of blood for my vigor as he puts his thumb and his forefinger to the gravestone on a specific site without touching the blood and just breaks a piece of the gravestone away.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that?
I can.
It's rude.
He very casually shrugs. Because it just so happens that, well, I assume we all want answers to this conundrum as quickly as we can possibly get them. After all, this individual apparently has said, what was it, he only had a few nights of grace. Well, what was it he said? Kind of looks at Figment, there was something about, you won't have to worry about this in a few nights, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris. Sorry.
I was going to say, which could be multiple things.
Yeah, so I think that we might want to uncover him as quickly as possible if we want to find him alive.
Ask a gangrel nearby.
Do you know any gangrel nearby?
Oh, one that was around, who's around here often in the area.
Well, I was going to suggest I have the number for a person who's very good at finding people in London. And he holds up the piece of bloodied masonry. We have a connection to him.
Ah. Yes.
I'm also happy to owe the prestation necessary to interest this individual to help us. A boon is a boon, and I'd much rather the prince's youngest child owing me a boon than me owing a boon to Mr. Bagman.
Fair enough. I guess before we do that, I could sweep the site, or Natalia or myself could at least try to discern something from that.
Seems like a plan. You sweep the site and I'll make the phone call.
Alright.
Alright, so we'll do Balthazar's phone call first.
Okay. I was given the number for Bagman. He said he'd change it, but it hasn't been that long since I got it, so we're gonna hope that it still works. Bring bring, bring bring,
Bring bring, bring bring, bring bring, bring bring, bring bring, bring bring, bring bring, beep. Hello, what can I do you for?
Mr. Bagman, always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. I have a little job for you.
Oh, what's that?
It appears as though somebody's causing some trouble with the Revenants. Apparently an unannounced kindred may be stalking them. I've got a connection to one of the kindred in question, some of his blood from where he was attacked. Apparently time is somewhat of the essence, some nebulous threat to, you will only have to worry about this for a few days more. And so I said that you were the man to put on the case to try and find them so that we may liberate him before, well, the axe falls.
Okay, I'm kind of busy right now. What do you need me to do?
I just need a trace to try and find where this individual is. As I said, we have some of his blood. If you can use that as a trace. I'm also happy to pay you suitable prestation, of course.
Depends on the quality of the blood, but it should work in most cases.
It's not the best, but I think it's still viable. There's quite a lot of it here, to be fair. I tell you what, since you're busy, and I can respect that. Out of curiosity, Chris, because I'm not exactly sure how big boons are in this, like, what would be a respectable price to pay him? I was going to say like 2 miners or something like that.
Offer him a miner.
Okay. If you'd be willing to join us down at which cemetery are we in?
Brompton Cemetery.
Brompton. If you were willing to join us down in Brompton Cemetery and point us the right direction, I'd happily owe you a minor boon.
Call it a major and I'll be right there.
Done.
Alright. Scene 15.
Click, click. Turns to the rest. Our bloodhound is on his way. If nothing else, he'll point us in the right direction. If we want to see this Revenant alive, I think we should try and extricate them this evening.
Right.
He kind of like looks at Bill. By all means, please do your investigations. Any more information on who it is we're attempting to apprehend is always valuable.
Then we'll put his wholehearted detective effort into scanning the scene. Assuming my specialty in crime scenes apply. Trained.
Absolutely.
Cool. And I'm going to spend another willpower for rote, and I have an 8-9 again. Yeet.
Him good at this.
Yeah, that's really good at a select few things.
Okay. So, that's an exceptional success. You begin to reconstruct the scene in your mind with the information that you have. You envision this man standing before his gravestone. Or standing before his gravestone. And you're aware that he's ambushed. You can see where his throat was torn out. It's where the blood on the gravestone would have been. And you can see where he fell and was repeatedly beat down on. It's where another puddle of blood is, or a patch of blood is, on the ground, behind the gravestone. From everything you've gathered, one, this is definitely an ambush. Which means this is pre-planned, which means there's a greater goal. This greater goal does not necessarily involve murdering these revenants, because if that was the case, they would have just murdered them here. So you think the goal is not to destroy the revenants, or even to co-opt them. You suspect given what you have heard, and given what has occurred here, that they were kidnapped in a premeditated fashion. And that they were deliberately allowed to live. And they haven't targeted Hickory either, the authority figure among the Revenants, which is what you'd do if you wanted to co-opt them. You think they have some sort of, for lack of a better term, experiment planned. You think they intend to change them in some way. But that's probably not uplifting. Again, if they wanted to uplift them, they could have easily just approached the Revenants themselves. Most would not have turned it down. Or they'd have just uplifted him here and there, like an actual embrace. So it's something different. You think they intend to change the nature of the Revenants in some way, or experiment on them. They intend to force some sort of change. And it's something they've already figured out. Given what the individual said, you think it's something they already know what to do. So you think, actually, a better word might be process, not experiment. Because if the ghost is correct, well, it's not lying, it's telling the truth, they already know what they're doing. Now, why they're doing that is a good question. That's not immediately obvious. But you certainly think it's going to be a disruption to the domain, given that this individual clearly doesn't want to be known or found by any figure of authority.
Man, what Chav says is really starting to line up right now. Maybe.
Now, as for personal details, or details relating to the perpetrator, you know they're capable of obfuscate. The ghost is being honest. You know they're capable of some degree of protean. And from the damage you've seen on this site, you think they're also capable of vigor. But perhaps not to the degree, not to an advanced degree, you suspect. The damage done to the various gravestones in the cemetery at large is minor, at most. So you don't think they're that powerful, physically. Now, given that, you think, given this, that either a Nosferatu or Gangrel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the lady didn't say anything specifically about his appearance that was out of the ordinary. There was nothing that was monstrous. Not all Nosferatu
Way you
are
described
monstrous.
I will say the way you described his skin was kind of a bit weird. Like, that was why I thought it could be a Nosferatu, because you did say it was, like, stretched in a weird way.
But that tends to be more reminiscent of older kindred than Nosferatu. Nosferatu can look emaciated, but oftentimes they can just look alien or monstrous, not just corpse-like. This is all information for Benji's investigation run. I'm trying to give as much information as possible because he got 7 successes. So I do apologise for this taking a while. You think, given the way he fought and how emaciated he is probably very close to his beast. Which is, funnily enough, more reminiscent of a Gangrel than a Nosferatu. And as opposed to a Nosferatu, he displayed the signature abilities of a Gangrel clan, not that of a Nosferatu. And if he was, that is something both the ghost and the victim would have felt.
Mm-hmm.
So you think, it's not certain, but you think, based on all the information you have, it's a Gangrel, and it's one of fair age, as they appear to have 2 abilities that are not innate to them. So definitely a more dangerous target than most.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly a capable hunter. You likely think they had been hunting this individual for at least a few nights or weeks, as they knew they were here, or knew they would come here. And they knew they would come here alone. Which actually suggests to you one of 2 things. Because they had knowledge of this person.
Mm-hmm.
So either they either knew them, or had been keeping an eye on them for a very long time. If they'd been just keeping an eye on them and following them around, it would have taken them quite a long time to sort of plan this all out. It would have probably taken a few weeks. Because it's basically planning a lone wolf murder. And this was clearly premeditated. It was not just, I'm angry, I'm going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone fed them the information.
Okay.
And that would mean there's a rat.
Ben will relay that all to the group in the form of insane ramblings Ben normally does.
I feel like I did very much a rambling.
Yeah. It needs to be a bit crazier to sound like Ben.
With emphatic hand gestures.
With emphatic hand gestures. There's hands everywhere.
Does he
He
pace
act-
back and forth?
Yes, totally. He's accidentally hit Roger in the face.
Oh no!
The ghost just gets like hand through the face, just looks like what?
Pyrokinesis Numina intensifies.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Please don't light them on fire.
Don't worry. He can't actually do that.
I can.
Yeah.
But I won't.
I need to go to sleep, but I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Toodle.
Bye bye.
So now we wait for Bagman.
I
If
brought
that-
a deck of cards.
Isn't this the first thing you roast about playing poker on the bodies of dead men?
We would be playing on their bodies.
If you
Just
deal them
on-
in, they're usually
On the
okay
ground,
with it.
yeah.
Alright, we're dealing in the dead people. Deal them out.
All right.
It sounds like the type of thing that the Ordo would do.
It does. They would also be the most insular. I don't think that they could keep it from everybody on the cacophony, though. Like, this kindred has not been identified by anybody.
There's
I
so
do know of-
many-
I do know of some research that was being done in regard to the Revenants, but
What's research about?
the nature of the condition,
Okay.
potentially ways of suppressing the hunger, things like that, but said that the man they described doesn't sound at all familiar, and if they're in the if they're kidnapping people and locking them in some laboratory basement somewhere, I don't know anything about it.
I also
I
know
don't
that
doubt
the
that it's
ma-
happening, but I don't think this is them.
I also know the matriarch of House Eliza, who's been recently resurrected, has her issues with the Revenants, but I guarantee you, if it came to her, it'd be more fire and less captivity.
Exactly. If it was a matter of just wiping them all out, then I don't think it would be overly difficult to just do that. This seems
I mean, it wouldn't-
calculated.
You're quite right.
Yeah, I have a stupid crackpot idea, but
You know.
it's really stupid, and I'd like it to be substantiated before I start explaining my insane ramblings,
You know what? It's fair.
because I will sound like a crazy person.
I mean,
Now with more emphatic hand gestures.
With more emphatic hand gestures.
But Chris, I think the big question is Bagman prompt?
He is prompt. Does everybody with Auspex want to roll me their Auspex plus their blood potency?
Yeah.
Oh man, do you remember when I used to be really good at that? Every time I remember.
That's just fun. Ben's just like, hello, it's me. Ben just waving at Bagman. Bagman flips him the bird. Oh, no, Ben doesn't say Bagman.
Seeing people is for smaller men.
Yeah. Ben is short. Ben's like 5'6".
oh, small boy.
Yeah. He's not tall.
Showers 5'6".
Nice.
Alright.
Is Natalia still here?
No, no on the bed.
Is it there in the chat?
They're actually still.
Oh! Impressive.
That's why I asked. He's
I have cute
multitasking.
senses. I have cute senses.
I do. I have
You
that, but
You smell Bagman coming.
What does Bagman smell like? Dingy.
So,
Imagine
like-
he smells sweet.
y'all,
He smells
y'all,
like bags.
y'all roll your Auspex. Everybody rolled their Auspex.
What is Auspex?
Auspex plus blood
Yeah,
you first-
potency. I think everybody's rolled it.
I think Ben's the only one that has it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Benji,
Yeah.
you will feel a very cold. You will hear a very, well, you will feel someone breathe down the back of your neck.
Hi, Bagman.
You don't see him. But then he will appear right next to you, very much invading your
Yeah.
personal space. Hello, Benji.
Hello, Bagman.
How's it going?
It's a fine evening.
It
You're
is.
going alright.
It's going great.
Yep. I have to reconstruct the crime scene.
How's that working out?
Better than I thought it would. Figment talked to ghosts. Phineas is somewhere. I should have dropped the obfuscate.
Admittedly,
Well, dude.
I would argue at his side, Phineas is everywhere.
yeah, he's kind of hard to miss, mate. But it appears, Master Coldborn here has, decided to sack you and replace you with me. So, no hard feelings.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sad Carthian discount Bagman. Van will do like a single tear gesture with his with his finger.
When it is I was growing up at Nanny's knee, she always told me that you should always get the best.
And I am damn quality. Alright, so what do you need? You'll turn to the rest of the group. Pleasure to meet you, Bagman, Archon. Absolute delight.
Hey,
Oh.
Batman, was roll away.
I
No one
believe
told me.
Mr. I believe Mr. Coldmorn over there has the blood that we need tracked.
He kind of flicks Bagman the piece of masonry.
Oh shit. Catches it. Puts it in his hand, sniffs it. Oh god, this is night salt. Holy fuck. That stinks.
Yeah.
Alright. It's not gonna be my cleanest work, but we'll see where this takes us.
We just need to finish or go downstairs, mate.
Okay.
Press one, love.
Sorry about that.
So, well, also,
Yes.
well,
Bagman is going to take the masonry. He's going to sort of hold it in one hand, and then you see he's going to stare at it. He's going to focus on it. And he'll stare at it for at least a minute. Several, in fact.
Do we have?
I think, first of all, while we're waiting on Bagman to do Bagman, I think he's gonna message Hickory to keep Hickory informed.
All right. Bagman seems to mutter to himself as he stares at the bloody lump of rock. Then he'll look up, like he's looking at the sky. You can see his eyes sort of move in very specific directions, very defined directions.
Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
While he's doing this, would it be possible for Ben to pickpocket him using his Twist of Fate? Noted.
You can do that if you like.
Wait, was that no in response to that, or?
No, you can try. It is a contested roll.
Yeah, okay. I just wasn't sure that if he was doing a thing, I would be able to just do it. God, hold on, let me check something. What, it'd be my dex larceny? Yeah?
Yeah, you're picking a good time to do it. So
You know what?
make it a resisted roll as opposed to a contested one.
You know what,
Do
fuck
we
it.
contest the roll?
We'll do it. We'll fucking do it. God, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Okay. It's a resisted roll, so instead of it being contested, you simply lose his wits rating in
Okay.
dice.
Cool.
-4 dice.
Ah, nice.
He is a very, very
Okay.
well aware man.
He is not as
So
aware
is
as
it?
Ben, surprisingly. Ben is a little more aware than him. Good to know. What's it? It's Dex larceny, then willpower brings it to 8, so that's 4.
You do it, yeah.
Thank God.
Did you spend your
do
twist
we-
of fate here?
Do we contest this roll? Since we are looking at the situation. And we're not, we are not involved in something like with our hands or anything like that.
Is anybody specifically like keeping an eye on Bagman?
I mean, not really.
I'd assume we're all looking at him because he's fiddling with something.
Yeah, no, I think we're all we're all looking at him, but like we're not also like he's not the main focus of attention. We're all waiting around to wait to see what he does.
So it's up to you, Chris, if we get the passive roll or if we don't.
If you're all looking at Batman specifically, then yeah, sure.
And what did you say about Twist of Fate, Chris?
Did you use it?
Oh, I definitely am dropping it here. This is like the most important roll that I'm going to make this night, so I am dropping it, yeah. So Twist of Fate, whatever that will do to this,
You
will be...
steal from a good and honest man and not
Shut
to
up,
help
he stole
revenants.
Ben's phone, you fuck!
Because most of us, I think, are looking at Batman. What is the role? Is it perception, or what is the perception role in this instance?
1 second. I need to check Twist of Fate here.
It's basically an exceptional on... Twist of Fate. Success. Vampire tunes to the immediate future. Before the end of the night, the player can treat a single reflexive or instant action as an exceptional success without rolling. The vampire can only access Twist of Fate once per night. It does not... The vampire can only access Twist of Fate once per night. It does not apply to resisted actions or contested actions, including attack rolls.
Oh, so
It's a specific wording.
It cannot apply to this action then.
No. Would I need to re-roll my Dex Larceny because technically my pool's hobbled by Bagman specifically? Because that's a feature of this roll. You know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
makes sense, doesn't it? That you'd roll your whole pool and then we contest your whole pool. That would make the most.
Yeah, roll your whole pool.
Still get the willpower I spent on the roll against Bagman.
Mhm.
I spent a willpower on the roll against Bagman. Do I still get that willpower?
Well, because people are now contesting a resisted action, you'll need to reroll the willpower.
Okay, so I don't need to spend another willpower.
Nope.
Cool.
Normally, people don't contest a resisted action, but all of you are looking at Bagman, so...
Fair enough.
What was the roll again, sorry?
You'd be making
I'm
wits
sorry.
plus. You'd be making wits plus composure roll.
Okay, cool.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Maybe I can beat that, probably not though.
I've been rolling like God this game. Jesus Christ.
Nope.
Nope.
Holy shit.
We did our Invictus due diligence. You know, that's all I care about. We tried.
We made an attempt.
We signed on the dotted line.
Signed on the dotted.
Going home now.
We did good enough for government work. That's all we need to do.
My God, that's all we ever do.
I'm a literal god. I'm not really.
Just hope to Christ before the end of the night, before the end of this, like, you know, whilst he's here, nobody tries to call him. Because would that be really? I don't know why. I just have this weird image of Bagman's ringtone being La Cucaracha, and just Ben just suddenly bursts out in La Cucaracha.
God. God.
Alright. So. Well, he's focusing on the rock. You can have his phone, Benji. Very subtly. But eventually, he'll come out of whatever he's he'll stop focusing on whatever he's looking at in the middle of the sky. You'll see. He's been buried.
Buried?
Kind of smart when
As
you
in-
think about it.
As in physically.
Yep.
Where?
Gladstone Park. By the pond, I think. I could hear the water.
Fine. Let's all get in the... There must be an all-night Tesco somewhere. We'll go get some shovels.
Yeah. I didn't sense anybody keeping an eye on him. I think they're just not expecting him to be found in the middle of a park. So if you hurry it up, you might be able to get him back intact.
I mean, guess we're going to farm for some shovels.
Do you think the reason there's so many revenants in the city is because they're planting them?
They're not trees.
I was going to say, I don't think weapons go like trees.
We can't prove they're not trees.
Oh, don't catch Hickory saying. Don't catch it. Don't let Hickory.
Dude, look,
catch you saying
Hickory, tree name. The conspiracy goes all
She's
the way
not
to the
wrong,
top.
dude.
that. I mean, don't give him an excuse to eat you. That's all I'm saying.
Very calmly, Balthazar just walks over, puts one arm on each one of Figment's shoulders, lifts her, and just carries her off. He's like, we're going.
Wait, I need my bike.
Back in my car, it's fine.
We're going in a car, Miss Figment. It goes vroom.
I can't leave my bike here.
I will carry your bike. In the car.
Fine.
Just, I want you, by the way, Tiger, I just want you to let you know the car that he brought is like one of those pseudo limos that has the, like, you know, the very large curved seat at the back, and that's just designed so Phineas can get at the car.
Is there a bike rack on it?
No.
I realized halfway through me saying that how ridiculous of a statement it was.
I mean, it's fine. You can strap it.
So, Chris, because I understand the UK, we're gonna find an all-night Tesco Extra. We're gonna buy some shovels. Balthazar will put them on his credit card. And we're gonna go to the park.
You don't understand the UK because it's Tesco Express now, you uncultured swine. How dare you?
No, I thought the Tesco Extra were the big Tesco's that had all the more interesting shit.
I'm just gonna away with the dumb American call. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm assuming it's a Walmart or convenience store.
It's a
Yes.
not Walmart, yeah.
Oh, do you mean like?
Pretty much.
Oh, do you mean like an actual full superstore? Or like a?
Yeah, because it's the only place where they'd sell you shovels.
Oh yeah, you can go to Tesco Extra then. I retract my comment. You are not uncultured swine.
Okay.
You do have a shop at Tesco.
I mean, it's the only place I know that'd be big open and would sell me shovels at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Walmart? Is Walmart a thing in England?
No, Asda is.
No.
Asda is our
And
Walmart.
Asda are owned by Walmart as the parent company, aren't they?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, buy shovels goes to park.
I also feel like
Nice.
we're standing in front of like the yard tour section. Like, does anybody else need anything?
A bike rack that fits on a whatever the fuck gas guzzling environmental bane he's got.
Wait, man,
I will have you know, it is part electric, thank you.
Is it though?
Yeah. Balthazar is concerned about the environment. Thank you.
Nice.
This being environmentally conscious helps with the PR relations.
Not wrong. Also, in the event this all goes super sideways, kids, just remember you can knock off the metal tip of the shovel and you've got a big steak.
Noted. I'll keep that in mind with my gangly arms.
Oh,
He kind of like...
a steak that might actually fit my hands.
Oh, dear God.
I just have this great image of literally Phineas just yeeting this fucking shovel like a harpoon. Like...
The white whale!
Fuck. God.
Alright.
But yes, we have armed ourselves with shovels.
You go to the park with shovels. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Gladstone Park. Quite a tranquil little place. It's actually quite a nice little garden area. All the flowers divided into little geometric patterns in the middle. Long pathway over autumn trees that lead you up to and through the pond. Can everybody make me a wits plus composure or plus their blood potency?
Spicy.
I have the bomb! He's got a bomb in the trunk!
Blood potency.
Keep in mind if you have acute
4.
senses, they apply.
Regular bomb, oh god, okay. Hey cop! Shut up, you dumb pussy! I hope you lay down in the street
Natural
and someone
observer
fucking
was.
kills you! Yeah! Wow! Yeah!
A trained observer, is what it's called.
Yeah! Oh my god! Hey, heart disease
Yes.
is the #1 killer in this nation! The second killer is cops in impoverished areas! Run him over! Yo, you're pretty fucking woke in there!
Thanks. Do not consent to what's happening.
Yes.
Let's jump onto the freeway! Yeah! Oh, shit!
God.
What the fuck? Why are you fucking ramming? What the fuck? Here we go.
Rip. You'll succeed. So you'll smell the fete of something about 20 yards to your left. It's far beneath the ground, but you can make it out.
Is there only one source of it here?
Only one source.
Okay.
If you weren't actively looking, you probably wouldn't have noticed.
Well, let's put our backs into it.
Phineas removes his coat, places it on a tree branch, and he gets to work.
Yeah.
The tree proceeds to fall over from the weight of Phineas's coat.
Fuck.
Yeah, much the same. Balthazar will take off his jacket, and he will even take off his tie.
How scandalous.
Diggy diggy hole.
Diggy diggy
Diggy
hole.
diggy hole.
If you all have the hole, I'll just keep a lookout just in case that kindred comes.
Oh, by the
Since
way,
he can't-
Chris, while we're doing... Ooh, sorry. Oh shit, I think there was some lag there. You continue, Ben.
Oh no, Ben just wants to keep a lookout for the kindred, just in case. Because
Chris,
that's
while
what
we're doing
Ben
this...
says.
Okay, cool. While we're doing this, I'm going to pop on awe, and there's a very specific reason I'm doing it. Because if anyone just happens to walk through the park late at night, if you've got awe on, they tend to overlook you doing minor crimes, and I'm pretty sure defacing public property by digging a big hole is a public crime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you didn't have all, people would think you were a serial killer, so...
Yep.
A whole group of them. How unfortunate.
So yep, just knocking on some awe. Nothing to see here. Just some men and women digging a big hole.
Yeah, women can be
Hold on,
serial
hold on.
killers too, man. Don't be a misogynist. Equal opportunity serial murder here. Isn't that
This
what-
isn't serial. This is asset recovery. Not serial. Come on now.
Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole.
If you stop talking.
Yeah, I'm done, so... Unless you dig up a hole. Your shovel again eventually hits something hard, uncovering the face of this man. Covered in dirt, blood and viscera. And that is all innocent.
Okay.
Thank you, Postman. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.